Welcome back, guys. For today's podcast, we'll be doing something different. For this podcast, we made this one up. If it sounds familiar or if it does happen,
Or if it actually did happen to
Yeah.
you, we actually apologize. And we actually, like I said, we made this one up by scratch. And so, shall we begin?
yeah, these made up podcasts is gonna be new to season 2. You're gonna see these a lot, not a lot, but like
There's like a few.
yeah.
But anyways, let's get into it. People might think that every family has their ups and downs, but what if there actually is a family that brings that meaning, to a T? The Reed House is known as the kindest and happiest family, but little did the people know in their small town that is going to be a big problem coming their way. The dark of night, where everyone is asleep, a small candlelight can be seen in the Reed House. A small figure slowly swayed to the loud screaming of the wind as the sound of a clock ticking and the sound of drops of water from a loose faucet.
The sound of the wind was interrupted by the sounds of chimes of the grandfather clock telling the house it is midnight. A silent giggle can be heard as the youngest child from the Reed house is holding their pet bird by the beak. And then a tiny pop, then crack was heard as blood slowly came from the bird, as the youngest child, named Amanda, killed the bird by twisting the head off. The feeling of happiness filled the girl as she let the blood go on her hand and slowly on the floor in her room. The little girl finally let the feeling of happiness from being forced. I was right. From being forced to be the perfect family by force by her parents.
Amanda was considered the unwanted one, a mistake, due to them not really wanting her, but ended up having her by mistake on a holiday. The little girl looked at the photo of her quote-unquote family, smiling with the perfect smile that she was forced to have, looking back at the bird, and as soon as the blood slowly dripped down her arms, a small smile creeped on her face as she went closer to the blood and slowly licked it clean. The moment she did something, something inside her snapped. She finally felt free, happy. It's like the pressure of being perfect went away. Amanda finally got a new meaning to her dull life. She wanted blood, but not sure but what kind. A few minutes later, sigh was heard, followed by a clunk of her trash can as she looked outside the window as she finished with the bird.
Amanda watched tiredly out the window, but it did not last long as she spotted her older sister's fiancé walking home tipsy, but with an unknown woman by his side, looking at him in a type of way that a hunter looks at his prey. She watched them with
Interest.
I had a brain fart for a good while before backing away to follow them to the back of the house. Due to him dragging her with him, she watched them go into the shed and grab gloves.
As well as a butcher knife.
Soon followed Amanda, who was not empty-handed, of course. Quietly giggles can be heard, or quiet giggles can be heard as she walked around the shed, which made the duo slowly become scared. The sound of a sharp metal object can be heard as she drags the knife against the walls, while slowly humming a tune. Once, yeah, once she did a whole 360 around the shed. She stopped at the door and slowly opened the door to see the pale faces of the two people, knowing they had been caught and knowing they might die. The moment before she entered the shed, she saw a better weapon.
Amanda smiles and throws a knife at the girl, hitting her at the throat, so she can't really scream in pain to alert the others. And then Amanda quickly grabbed the machete and pointed at her sister's fiance, and then slashed his head off while hitting the wall in the process. She saw the fear in the woman's eyes and slowly smiled in a creepy way before saying, "Thank you for letting me feel a real happiness for the first time, lady," and took the knife out of her throat and rapidly slashed her until it was mostly impossible to identify her. After Amanda knew she was dead, she felt alive. The feeling of pure happiness, the taste and smell of blood made Amanda even more crazy and wanting more, but she knew she had to wait. So she chopped up the bodies and hid them in the bag that she knew she needed to use tomorrow for weeds and thorns. So
We have, due to our time being limited, but we hope you enjoyed the story. We plan on making more of these later on in the year.
hopefully they're a bit longer.
And as always, that's another legend pulled out of the shadows. Here and there, yeah.
And, well, popular, yeah,
Popular in movies.
movie-wise. And the movie that we'll be talking about is the movie Saw. Keep in mind, I did a pause.
Yeah.
Please keep in mind that we might not talk about all 10 movies, but we might just talk about a few of them due to time-wise. And
Also just enough to get it to slide.